Hello, strangers. It's Tuesday. I have a blanket. And today I'll be talking about my cat. I have had Sammy for 2 months. Not very long. Sammy's previous owners, I think, abandoned him. That's been a problem in my neighborhood lately, where people can't afford their houses anymore. So they abandon their homes and they kick their pets out on the street. I had seen Sammy outside my yard a few times, and I just thought he was someone's cat, and he was an outside cat. And every time I saw him, he would act really attention-starved. But I guess that's common for animals whose owners don't pay much attention to them. So I didn't think much of that other than, oh, here's a really sweet kitty in my yard. And then I didn't see him for a few months. And then I did see him again, and that's when I noticed the condition he was in. He was so coated in fleas. He was infested with fleas horribly. He was really, really thin. His breath smelled like dead animals because he'd been eating dead animals because he didn't have food. If you have a cat that you've ever let outside, you know how sometimes it'll catch an animal out there and it might bring it to you, but it doesn't really eat it. It's just kind of for the sport of catching it. Sammy caught an animal in my yard, and he ate the entire thing. So that's what told me he didn't have a home. The fact that he was so hungry that he caught an animal and he ate the entire thing. And the thing about Sammy is he's declawed. He caught something without claws. He was that hungry. So once I realized the condition Sammy was in, I started going outside to see him a lot. And my parents felt really bad about it. I still live with my parents. I am a huge cat lover. So I had a cat my entire life up until right around the time I was almost 17. And then not having a cat was really hard. And I'd asked for a cat, and my parents were like, no, you can't have a cat. You can have a cat when you move out. I'm like, oh, great. So it was really big for me when my parents would let me bring this cat in, Sammy. And it was even bigger for Sammy. So the next day, I took him to the vet, and he got a clean bill of health. That's turned out to be completely incorrect. He's had a lot of health problems because he was abandoned. Well, there was the flea problem. He had a tapeworm. He has severe gingivitis, but he does have diabetes, which you wouldn't really expect from a cat that you got really thin. You normally think of diabetes being associated with, you know, really fat cats. But no. When we first got him, he mostly slept. Since the tapeworm was taken care of, the fleas were taken care of, and his diabetes has been treated, he's become so energetic. He wants to play all the time. Sammy is really a great cat. My life is better for having him. I love him so much, and I've only had him for 2 months. So my point is, if you see a cat that you think is stray, you don't have to take it in. You can just call the local no-kill shelter. Make sure it's a no-kill shelter, because there are a lot of shelters that will just put an animal down rather than have to process the paperwork of putting it up for adoption. So I guess that's about all for today. Tomorrow you will see Crystal, and you will see me again in 2 weeks. DFTBA.